Ontario's Premier Doug Ford is facing some blowback this morning as the fallout continues from this week's scathing military report into 5 of the province's long-term care homes. At his daily briefing yesterday, Ford condemned inspectors who investigated facilities by phone instead of in person.
All I know is they refused to go in. And, I stood up here for the last week taking bullets for them. Well, enough's enough. They have to be accountable too.
Ford's office made public a letter from the union representing inspectors, setting out the reasons why the in-person reviews wouldn't go ahead. But the union countered and is now saying the document doesn't tell the whole story. Steve Niles is looking into this for us. Strong words from the Ontario Premier, not going to take the bullets for these guys anymore. What else did he say in this fight, Steve?
Quite a lot, Heather. In fact, he used that term, taking bullets, during that press conference where he was explaining, rationalizing, and sort of shifting some of the blame for what is happening in Ontario long-term care homes to the people who are responsible for inspecting them. And as you heard him say, he is sick of taking bullets for the individuals he said failed to do their duties. He alleges that the long-term care inspectors in the province refused to go into the homes to inspect them in the early days of the COVID pandemic. Here's a little bit more of what Ford said about those inspectors.
The truth of the matter is they were refusing to go into these homes. I understand they were scared. This is in April. This was the peak of COVID, and all heck was breaking loose, and they were nervous about their families. They were worried about their health. But I'm not going to continue taking bullets for something that there was no control that we had when the unions refused to go in.
So that was Ford yesterday telling his side of the story. More than 78% of Ontario's COVID-19 linked deaths have taken place in the province's long-term care homes, and there are at least 289 care homes with outbreaks in the province. Ford announced earlier this week that the province would be taking control of 5 long-term care homes in the wake of that scathing report from the military about the deplorable conditions that were found in some of those homes. Heather?
Steve, in terms of this escalating back and forth, what is the union now saying?
The union in this case, it is the Ontario Public Service Employees Union, or OPSEU. Its president, Smokey Thomas, wrote in that letter to Ford on April 22nd that you saw part of it right there. It was to Ford and Ontario's Minister of Long-Term Care, and that letter has sections in it about inspectors being overworked and frustrated but committed to their obligations. Smokey Thomas talked about there are only 164 inspectors in the province supporting 626 homes, and he also called for more staffing and funding. I want to read part of the statement as well that was in that letter. It reads in part, "We now understand that your government wants to have in-person inspections. Thanks to the low staffing levels and the inherent risk to multiple parties from such inspections, this plan is not only ill-advised but not necessary. In-person inspections will not provide us with any more information than we already have." So that was the letter on April 22nd. In addition to this, Smokey Thomas is now speaking out to CBC. He says that there has been years of neglect from governments in the province. He said it was in fact many long-term care managers refused to let inspectors into the homes during the COVID-19 outbreak. So the union's point of view there, you heard Ford's point of view. So during this fight against COVID-19, it now seems that the Ford government is fighting with one of the unions in the province as well. Heather?
Steve Niles, thank you very much for that.